Hello and welcome. My name's Lorna and this is my channel Thread and Yarn. Hello to any new faces here and the warmest welcome back to anybody who's watched my channel before. So this is a place where I like to talk about the things I've made, whether that's knitting or sewing, natural dyeing, quilting, gardening. I like to bring my love and respect for the natural world into my practice and into my videos, so I do talk a lot about that as well. And yeah, if that sounds like your sort of thing, then I hope you enjoy this little cozy video. It's a really, really bright December day here. We're less than a week now until the 25th, and it's been kind of cold this morning, but it's been pretty rainy and pretty mild, so it hasn't felt super wintry to me yet. But waking up this morning and having a lovely sunrise and nice clear sky definitely made me feel a little bit more festive. And the other thing that's happened this week, which has made me feel very excited, is that I finished knitting my Pagan Sky jumper, which I'm wearing. I'm so happy. So yeah, in this video I'll probably be talking a lot about the Pagan Sky jumper, so I've just finished it and I'm very, very happy with it. But there's some other things as well, so I'm talking a little bit about the coat that I'm in the middle of making, and some dyeing that I've done recently, just little bits on the side of me here. And yeah, what else? I've done some other knitting too. I've made a hat, I'm making some more mittens, and I have, what else have I done? Oh yeah, I've made some little embroidered wrist warmers, and I also have one last teeny tiny shop update to squeeze in at the end of the year, some midwinter yarn which I've put here. It's related to something that's happening in my personal life. I'm moving house, and yeah, I'll talk about that in the video. But I've got some yarn to talk about, some yarn that I've dyed and some yarn that I've bought that I'm hoping to rehome. So here in the UK, we're a couple days away, as I film this, from the darkest day of the year, the winter solstice. It's the point where the days have been shortening and shortening and shortening, and then they'll begin lengthening again. And it's a really special moment. I feel a lot more connected to that than I do to the 25th. I spend a lot of time outside. I try to grow a lot of my own food, and it's just something that really helps me feel connected to my landscape and to what's happening in the sort of earth and season around me. So I really love to celebrate it. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about that in this episode as well. And it just feels like perfect timing, having finished my Pagan Sky jumper for the solstice. So yeah, that's lovely. The light might be a little bit changeable today. Sorry, it's that classic December day. The sun is really low, and when it's out it's incredibly bright, and then when it's not it's incredibly dark. So yeah, it might be a little bit changeable, but there we go. So I think I'll start with the thing that I am wearing, the thing I'm most excited about. This is my recently knitted, finished Pagan Sky sweater by Zanete Knits, and I knitted the double knit version, and I am just massively in love with it. It's incredibly warm. It's got this colour work that runs all the way from the neck down sort of to my mid tummy and the equivalent on my arms. So you can see the amount of yarn underneath here is intense. So it's kind of like a double thickness, double knitting jumper. And I went out to take some photos, thank you to my lovely partner, this morning on the common, and it was pretty cold because it was a clear night sky last night. So this kept my core really nice and warm. And actually it's really lovely having the additional warmth on my shoulder and upper arm. So that just felt very cozy. And I just think it's beautiful. I've been sharing this with you a lot over the last especially the last couple of months as I picked it back up again after summer. But I started knitting this originally in April, so it's been a long work in progress. But I'm so glad that I picked it up again after summer. It just felt a bit heavy, I think, in the heat of midsummer. But perfect for now. So yeah, I just loved seeing the pattern develop. And you know what, normally I get kind of bored on sleeves. However, doing the colour work on the arms just really kept my interest. And by the time that I'd finished the colour work, I was, you know, nearly or just above the elbow. And then it just felt very, very quick to do the rest, plain knitting, after having done colour work on the arms. So it was a really nice balance, actually. I really liked that. And I did the sleeves on double pointed needles, which I have to say massively improves my enjoyment. Yeah, I much prefer doing it on double pointed needles than I do using magic loop, where you're constantly having to sort of adjust the cable. I just much prefer it, but we've, you know, all got our own methods. But that's really helped me with sleeve knitting since switching to using DPNs. Yeah, what else to say about it? I used a Blueface Leicester and Shetland blend undyed for the sort of main body colour, and then I've used the Raw Wool Company's it's like Wensleydale and Swartbliss blend yarn. I think it's their Rum and Raisin, maybe, and it's nearly black, but it's hard to come across in the video, but it's very dark brown. And I really, really love the contrast. I backed up against the cupboard. I'm really trying to show you. There you go. You can see a bit more now. Like I said, I did go out this morning and take some lovely photos and videos on the common, and it was a gorgeous sky. So that felt very appropriate a couple of days before the solstice to go out and take pictures in front of a lovely sunrise of my Pagan Sky sweater. Yeah, and of course the colour work goes in the back. So it's just awesome. And it's got a double thickness neckband, which I stitched down the other night. And I also blocked it. I blocked it straight away. I was just, you know, you're so close to the finish and I'm like, oh, I can't wait. So every spare moment I was, finishing off the cuff, stitching down the neckband, and then I blocked it. And I took a few videos of my blocking technique, which I'll show you in a bit. Doesn't involve any expensive kit at all, and I block everything like it. So yeah, and with this amount of colour work, the blocking is just, yeah, really essential. I should have taken a video or a photo of it before I blocked, but I forgot. But it did help even out the colour work. I got much better, actually, because some of the floats are quite long in parts, and I got the hang of it a lot more. It's been a while since I've done a whole sort of colour work jumper, and some of the floats are sort of 12 stitches long. So there is a slight bit of gathering here, but I'm really not fussed about that. But I'm really pleased with the float catching and everything. Down here I think it looks really even, and to be honest that's the more important section because it's sort of got a bit more ease here than it does across my chest. Yeah, it just feels magical. I just feel so happy to have made this. I think it might be the nicest thing I've made. At least it's just bringing me so much joy to wear it. And I was so hoping it would, because I blocked it yesterday, that it would dry in time for this morning. So I had the dehumidifier on, and it's amazingly, on a very sort of damp December day, managed to dry in time. So yeah, and it's probably by far my warmest winter jumper that I've got now as well. So that's really lovely. I've just been sort of doing lots and lots of layering. So this is going to be brilliant, I'm sure, if we ever get any properly cold weather anyway. But yeah, have any of you knitted this? I know that there's a 4-ply version as well, which looks beautiful. And I was kind of tempted, like, should I make a 4-ply one? But no, I think it's just lovely to have this as it is and keep it super special. So here it is lying flat on the towel, and I've gently squeezed, very gently, squeezed the excess water out, and then I just roll up the jumper in the towel to get rid of a lot of the water. Actually, it's pretty good for that. And then I'll lie it out flat on another towel on an airer to dry, which is probably going to take ages at this time of year. But I'm just evening out the colour work really through blocking, just gently sort of stretching and making sure this section isn't too tight and allows enough room. I'm just going to sort of tease it out, and it's just really good to do that after colour work. So the other thing, the light's getting dark, sorry. The other thing that I finished knitting recently is this hat. It's a very, very simple 2x2 rib sort of beanie. It is the petite knit hipster hat. I really ummed and ahed about it because I thought I want a really simple project. So we went away recently, and when I don't want to work on a Pagan Sky or get it out on the train, because we had quite a lot of long train journeys, I just want something small, incredibly simple. And I thought, oh, I'll just knit a 2x2 hat, something that's really, really thick and warm. And I thought, I don't need to buy a pattern for that, I can figure it out. But then I feel like I always end up doing that sort of thing, and I just wanted an absolute holiday for my mind. So I bought the pattern, and you know what, it was really lovely to have had somebody else work out the decreases for me in a way that sort of finished really nicely, and it was such an enjoyable holiday knit. Lot of ribbing. Yeah, saying enjoyable, I'm not sure when I got back to here and I felt like I had a lot more ribbing to go if I was still enjoying it, but it was nice not to think about anything. We went to France, and we don't really fly anymore, so we got trains and had a lot of train journeys to get to the Ardèche, which is beautiful, stunning mountains, and we stayed in a tiny little the top floor of an old sort of cottage, and there was a fire and some comfy chairs and a bath and a bed and not much else, and it was great. So I just did loads and loads of knitting on these two projects by the fire. A lot of pastries, a lot of cheese, a lot of patisserie, and we were buying veg from the local market and doing some nice sort of cooking, foraging for herbs, and it was brilliant. And I'm now talking about my holiday, but anyway, I've gotten a lot of use out of this hat already. So here it is. I don't know if you can see it in this light. It's a very dark brown as well. I suppose it kind of goes with this jumper. It's super, super cosy. I've got a really sort of thick folded over bit for my ears. So that's like double layer, which is lovely. The yarn is a quite heavy DK from Beck of the Woven Briar. This yarn is so lovely and so special. It's Shetland, and it is so soft, and it's just got this like wonderful halo. It's hard to describe how gorgeously soft and wonderful it is over video, but so the light is weird, sorry. Beck heard from her shearer that there was some lovely gorgeous Shetland fleeces that were going to go to waste unless they could get spun up at a mill, and she did a sort of pre-order to fund the spinning of it to save the yarn, or to save the fleece so it could get made into yarn. And I'm so glad I bought some, and I think I was talking about this in my last video as well, but I've got some more, and I might make a really big shawl or big scarf or something to go with it. And yeah, super cozy and really soft and lovely to be against the skin. So I feel very lucky and grateful to have gotten some of that. So thank you, Beck. Right, yes, the other things I'm knitted are, or am knitting, I showed you my first ever hand spun yarn in my last video. Here it is. I've balled it up after finishing it and I've started knitting. So I've got a lot of mitts, but I really want a pair of more like workwear mitts, some for sort of gardening and foraging and sort of like rougher work. So I thought I'd use this yarn, and I spun up the yarn from fibre from Merino skewer. It's her lovely skewer blend, and I spun it to sort of sport weight, I guess. That's sort of what it felt like to me. And I've cast on a very simple mitt. It's got a twisted rib cuff, and then I've kind of followed my market mitt pattern. However, I'm doing a twisted rib thumb a la my bri gauntlet pattern because I really like this sort of sweeping twisted rib for the thumb. I just think it's a nice effect. So I'll pop it on. This is the right hand one. There you go. Hope you can see it okay with this light. I just love the way that it like scoops around the thumb. So yeah, I designed that for my bri gauntlets, but it's sort of a mashup of the two patterns. And I think with these, because they're going to be quite practical, I'm going to do little cut off fingers. Like, yeah, so instead of it just being, you know, like a fingerless cut off mitten, it will be fingerless gloves instead. And I'm looking forward to trying that. And I might do those as twisted rib as well. I just think it gives it such a nice sort of snug feel and just adds a lovely detail. So I think that'll be quite pretty, and I think that'll be good for, yeah, for cycling in and for doing sort of tougher work in. The fleeces in here are quite robust fleeces, and I think it will be a really good pairing for that. So yeah, I like to have a bigger project on the go and a smaller one, and this is my little smaller one. So I can take it out and about with me to the pub, or, you know, on car journeys and things like that. And I don't really have to think about it. It's quite simple. So yeah, that's very enjoyable. The other thing I knitted is some very simple wrist warmers. So these were part of the winter solstice Patreon gift for my Patreon. So I sent little kits for these, and they're just very simple double knitting weight wrist warmers with some cute little sort of nature folky inspired embroidery on. I really like them. This is from Lonk DK yarn that I dyed with walnut in the summer, and I've got some walnut and madam dark brown and indigo embroidery thread. Now these are not for me, these are going to my friend Nora, who is a lovely willow weaver and has taught me so much this year. It's been lovely working with her, and I feel like I've known her for longer. I think I met her in February, and she also came to our summer retreat to do willow weaving with us, and she's coming to our February retreat as well to do some more willow weaving. So I thought, she always gives me lovely things and books and DVDs and things about different heritage crafts, and I thought it would be a really nice sort of wintry, Christmassy present to pop these through to her. She's always sort of, yeah, working with willow, and I thought that'd be nice for keeping her wrists warm but keeping her hands free. So they are going to be an imminently delivered gift. I felted them as well, so they're extra cozy. This one felted a bit more than this one. Oh well, nothing in nature is identical. But there we go. I think I've got a couple spots opened up on my Patreon if you're interested in joining for the spring. So check that out. There's different tiers for the UK, international, not US, and then US has its own tier. And that helps cover the cost of postage, or in the case of the US, the cost of the tariffs to post there. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. The link is in the description of this video. And In terms of sewing, I have been slowly chipping away at the coat that I mentioned that I wanted to make. It's the Sander sort of jacket coat by McLochlainn Mills, and I was going to make a longer version of it to make it sort of a winter coat. I'll grab what I've done so far. So, breaking things. It's using this sort of blue and tan checked wool, which was some of it might have been dead stock. And yeah, it's lovely. It's got some nice sort of flex in it. It's 100% wool, and I don't really have a sort of smartish winter coat, so that would be really lovely. And I think the colours go well. I mentioned this in my last video. I'm starting to get into blues, like moody blues, winter seas colour. And I have this as the back. You can see I've sort of put the yoke together and joined it to the back. It's feeling huge, but it is supposed to be fairly oversized. Somebody suggested I should probably go down a size because they do come up really big. And I thought I would kind of grade in between sizes and see how that went. Because I'm happy for it to be oversized, but I don't want it to be, don't want to be drowning in it. So I did reduce the size of it slightly, so we'll see. And what I've done basically is join the two front sections to the back. And then I have prepped my pockets. So I have attached this brushed cotton, sort of flannel, and edge stitched it down in position. And I've done no more purely because, as somebody rightly pointed out, I think people rightly pointed out in my last video, the brushed cotton might have been a difficult lining fabric to get, if I'm wearing jumpers, to get my arms in and out of the coat. I did think about that at the time, but I was so keen for it to be really warm and cosy, and I haven't always enjoyed slip linings, and I found that they don't really sort of last that long. But I think it was a really good point that you don't want to get stuck on. Brushed cotton has got quite a lot of texture and thickness, and yeah. So I was thinking and looking at various different options, linens, cotton lawns, all sorts. In the end, I decided I'm going to use the brushed cotton for the pockets because that's what gets the most like wear and tear for me. Think like putting my keys in, and it's also really lovely to have a lovely cozy warm pocket. So, and it's also, it's not like I can't get my hand in and out because of the texture with pocket. So I thought I'd do that, use this for the pockets, and then I was waiting for some slip lining to arrive so that I've got slip lining for the arms. I thought about using the cotton flannel for the front and back, but I just quite like the idea of it all looking the same with the arms. So I'm just using slip lining throughout. And I think actually it will feel like a really elevated, lovely coat having that lining in there. And I've still got that warm place for my hands. So that's why I haven't done any more, because I was waiting for the lining to arrive. And I chose some lining from McLochlainn Mills actually, which was actually quite affordable. It's this just basic slip lining, and it's a nice colour combo, I think. Sort of a bronzy colour. It's a bit darker than it's coming up on the camera, and I think that'll look nice inside, and then it will enable me to wear my Pagan Sky jumper underneath the coat. Yeah, so that's arrived. I've got it cut out. But I haven't had any time to do any sewing yet again. So yeah, I've got it cut out though, and should have some time over the sort of Christmas, New Year period. So yeah, if I do, then I'll be slowly working away at that. And to be honest, it's not exactly cold at the moment anyway. So, and I've got my jumper to keep me warm. I'll try it on and show you, I guess, although it feels a bit more like a gown, like a ceremonial gown with a drape, not having any arms. Here you go. So it's got drop shoulders, but I really like the colour of it. I think it's going to look nice. It's really hard to imagine at the moment without arms and without the side seams being done up, without the buttons or anything, but we'll see. Hopefully in my January video I'll be able to show you a finished coat. But it's nice to have a bigger project to sort of chip away at again, to be honest. I haven't done any other sewing, I haven't made any of the base layers or anything. Again, knitting just feels like something so easy to pick up and put back down. But we are making some changes which I think are gonna improve my sewing situation, which I'll talk about in a minute. So it's been a big time of change here at Thread and Yarn HQ, aka my house. It's been a busy time. We are in the middle of hopefully moving house. It's been a bit of a journey over the last 6 months, but it all should be going ahead, and hopefully in the first couple of weeks of January we will be moving to a little cottage a little bit further out Stroud, still in the Stroud area, but sort of, yeah, semi-rural I guess, on the edge of one of the commons, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to have, got a little bit more space, and hopefully I'll be able to at some point build a little workshop, little dye workshop for me to to create lots of lovely colours instead of colonising our kitchen with different dye pans. And it's just got so much character, and it looks like a lovely little community up there, so I can't wait to share that with you in the new year. But because of that I've been quite busy, and I've also been doing lots of sorting out. So I just wanted to show you some things that I am going to put on my website from today. So I've dyed some yarn. I had some yarn left over that I hadn't dyed for markets, so I thought I would dye it up to create a little mini midwinter collection. I haven't talked about this before because it was a fairly, you know, as much as natural dyeing can be, spontaneous decision. So sorry that there isn't any advanced warning. It's just a tiny collection, and I'll do a proper collection later in spring. But I just thought I'd quickly show you. Just like last year, I've been inspired by colours of winter skies. Last year it was very sort of stormy, moody, like, yeah, stormy winter evening sky. This year I've just been loving all the beautiful sunsets. There's been sort of turquoises and blues, peaches, corals, pinks, lilacs, soft browns, and the hills that I look at on the common have just been glowing this amazing mossy green. So the colours have been inspired by that. So they are all Lonk sock 4-ply, and there are a few sets of 100 grams of minis. So it's kind of bright, but this is a sort of dusky pink. I've got a bundle dyed one here with yellow and orange and black, a sort of corally colour, maybe they're a bit darker in real life, soft brown, and a mossy green. I'll pop some pictures up as well. And that's one set. I've got one with all of the different colours in together, sort of a bundle of different weights. And then I've got one with more like a gradient of the sky and the earth, with more sort of blues in. So that's those ones. And then I've got some 2 50-gram bundles of these minis, which just really make me think of frosts. So yeah, so I've got those, and they're on my website now, as is a lot of other yarn. The other yarn is not my yarn. Well, it is my yarn, but it is not yarn that I have dyed. It's yarn by other people that I have bought over the years, but I have just had to do a big destash because I can't take all of this with me. There's only so much time in the day, and I just know that I'm not going to get round to them, and they're making me feel guilty because they are stunning, but I just know I'm not going to get round to using them. So I wanted to see if any of you would like them. So they're on my website. I've put them on for, I think most of them are about 75% of what I paid for them. They're all completely unused, but I'll show you some of them. So I've got my big tub. A lot of them are superwash yarns. I bought a lot of this when I started buying nicer yarn for myself because the colours are lovely, they feel super soft. I don't tend to use superwash yarn so much anymore. I rarely wash my wool. I like to wash it as little as possible, and I am not so keen on the process for superwash wool, but each their own. The good thing about it is durable and superwash washable, and a lot of people really love it, and the colours are really vibrant, and it would make me very, very happy if they went to homes of people that would really love them. So yeah, that's why I am rehoming them, as well as the move. But this one I bought in New York and I made a beautiful top with it. It's a ripple crop top by Jessie made. I'll share a picture. But this is Liebling. It's by Hedgehog Fibres and it's lovely. It's got beautiful speckles over a sort of lilac-y base. And also bought in New York, actually. I bought, 5 skeins of this worsted lilac yarn. I really went through like a pinky lilac phase and then realised I don't think it's my colour. This was quite a few years ago now. But it's all unused, and that's, enough to make probably a cardigan or jumper out of for somebody. And it is really plump, soft merino, and it is lovely. It's just not the colour for me. That's up there. I'm selling that as a bundle together. What else? I've got this super soft sock by Queen Fibre, and that's a very different colour palette, greens, oranges and blacks. It's quite a thick sock yarn, that. Then I have some Bird Street yarn, which I really love the colour palette of, but again I've just got too many other projects coming up and I just know I'm not going to get to it. It's a sort of beigey colour with this beautiful sort of purple and pink and yellow, there we go, and browny tones. I think that would be really nice. A lot of them are sock weight, other than the worsted bundle I showed you. I also have some really gorgeous pigment and ply. In fact, a lot of it is pigment and ply. This is the Centuries, this beautiful dusky purple. This is Triumph of Time, and Pigment and Ply, if you don't know her, she's inspired by various sort of classical and neoclassical paintings. And this was done by the inspired by the painting, the Triumph of Time, and she's just captured the colours beautifully. But again, I went through a real purple phase and I'm not sure it's the one for me, which is a bit of a shame. But there's other things that are calling me more, so but if somebody else wants them, oh, they'll be beautiful. I've got more Pigment and Ply. So this one is missing a label, but it's the same as these two, which is Cirrus and Sunsets, which I think I was probably going to make a little jumper from or something. And they are gorgeous. Again, very purpley and pinky and cool toned. I'd really love it if somebody bought these and loved them and made use of them. But I mean, they all go really well together and would make a beautiful fade of a jumper or a shawl. So please relieve my guilt. Yes, and then I have some James Makes Yarn, who is a local dyer to me. I bought this years ago and I was very excited about it, but again, I just have other things in my queue that I want to make. My colour palette is kind of shifted now to a lot more neutral tones. So yeah, that is, doesn't say what the colour is actually. Oh, 1989 remixed. Oh, I think that was part of the Taylor Swift colour palette, yeah. Super fun. I think that would make a really lovely little crop or colour work in something. And then I have some little sort of some minis, and I have some Garthenor Priselli as well in the sort of sunsetty colour. Really nice. And then I've got some more basic things like some West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn in the colour Cornflower. Oh, the other thing I've got is this little mohair, this little Ito Sensei mohair which just was a lot lighter green than I thought. It's called moss, so I thought it was going to be a lot darker. But yeah, I thought I was actually going to make a little mohair scrunchie from that. But that's also on there. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that, that's all on my website as part of the yarn de-stash. So I hope you like some of that and that someone would like to rehome some of them. That'd be nice. And then the yarn I've dyed is on there as well. Postage at this time of year is very chaotic. It just takes a long time, obviously, because the whole world is trying to send parcels to each other. So I will send them sporadically through the sort of Betwixtmas period and early January, and I'll send them all tracked. But they may take a little while to get to you. But as long as you're not in a rush, then I hope you enjoy them. The other thing that I have dyed recently is some more linen. And I dyed some blue linen for my Patreon boxes for the seasonal gift. And I had some left over, which I made some decorations out of. But I thought I'd do some more mushroom stamps. I'll have to take a picture of these because of the light. But I did some of these in autumn and you guys seem to really like them. And I find it really fun to choose a stamp colour to go with the patches. And I chose brown on this indigo. And I think they'll be so cute in the centre of a little project bag or a sort of patchwork quilting project, or on a mend or something, on a piece of clothing, a jacket or something. So I've got those. They're indigo with the brown stamp. And then I've got some walnut and Sucche brown ones with a black stamp. And then I think I've got one left of my undyed linen with a green stamp. And there are also some, and I should have thought about this in advance of Christmas, but I didn't. There are some little mushroom stamp cards. It's on recycled card, plastic free, little mushroom stamp. Little simple cards. Also, last thing, with any order with the yarn I've dyed or with the yarn from other people, I am going to put in a free little postcard of my illustration. This little sort of community friend group. Somebody's knitting, somebody's spinning, and somebody is quilting. I put these in with my recent Patreon parcels, so if you're a Patreon member and you make an order, I'll put in a different one for you, so you're not getting two of them, unless you'd like to. If you would, then leave me a note, but otherwise I'll put in a different postcard for you. Yes, so they're just a little freebie, a little festive freebie. Thank you also for your suggestions about cardigan patterns for this lovely wool from Marina Skewer. I'm trying to find a good light. It's very low contrast. I've got teal and yew, and I was going to do, maybe that's a bit better. I was going to do a striped cardigan. It's double knitting weight, and I was thinking about the Olga jacket. I still am. I think my main reservation about it is that it's very, very oversized. But I'm thinking I might do that and size down. Another suggestion, although it isn't double knitting, was the Janette cardigan. I saw that and I absolutely loved it, but it's Aran weight. And I was thinking, should I try and get some mohair to match these different colours, maybe contrast them slightly more as well by having more of a contrast in the mohair? But then I feel like I'm kind of diluting lovely Marina's soft, bouncy, natural yarn, and also mohair isn't the cheapest, so I'm not sure. Or I could do the Janette cardigan and do some sort of maths jiggery pokery and try and knit the same pattern but a different size, because my gauge would obviously be off. That's a bit risky, but I do love it. I love the shape of it and the collar. It's gorgeous. There were some other gorgeous striped cardigans as well that I'll pop up here that people recommended in case you're interested. But I think they just weren't quite what I was looking for. I don't know why, but sometimes you just have your, something in your head.
but they're lovely options, and I'll pop them up here. But yeah, so I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what I'm doing, and other than the mittens, I don't really have another knitting project on, so I'm going to figure this out over Christmas so I can cast off on something lovely. But thank you so much for your suggestions. I looked them all up and it was really helpful, so thank you.
So yeah, it's the solstice in a couple of days. I think by the time I post this video, it might be the day before the solstice or the solstice itself. If you're not familiar with that, it's, at least in the northern hemisphere, the point where the days have been shortening and shortening, and then they're going to lengthen again. And the sun sort of may have appeared to sort of pause momentarily, and that's what gives it its name, solstice, sun and still. And it's such a magical time of year, I think. I feel more and more connected to it as the years pass. It feels lovely to recognise something that is happening to the earth no matter what we do and what's going on in our lives. It's part of this huge cycle that's bigger than us that our ancestors have recognised for years. And I always love to go to some sort of, I'm quite lucky to have quite a few sort of Neolithic sites around here, and there's some, but quite a lot of different long barrows and stones. And where I grew up in Wiltshire, there's quite a few famous stone circles like Stonehenge in Avebury, and I love learning about them and reading about the archaeology and the finds that they've discovered. And I think I was watching, it was Countryfile the other day, and they were talking about, on their Stonehenge episode, about finding evidence of people feasting thousands and thousands of years ago that they could date to around the time of midwinter, and the stones align with the midwinter sun. What better time to come together with loved ones and bring different communities together to celebrate the return of the light. The return of the light is the return of life and hope and new energy coming out of that darkness, when you feel like that darkness is never going to change and the nights are never going to get shorter again. And what a wonderful thing to celebrate. And I just think that is sort of beyond any of us, and it's just, I don't know, recognising that for me is part of how I feel sort of grounded in my landscape, and how part of my practice of showing respect to the natural world and to the earth, I guess. It's a gratefulness for everything that I've been given this year and the hope of the year to come, and of just that relationship of reciprocity, I guess. But I'd love to know what the solstice means to you if you celebrate, and it feels wonderful to have finished my special Pagan Sky jumper for it. It feels like part of the celebration, and I'm very excited to sort of wake up on the 21st and light a candle in the dark kitchen and just take a moment to reflect on the year gone past, feeling incredibly grateful for you guys. It just feels kind of wild to me that when I post these videos, people comment and watch them, and through it I feel like I've built up a really lovely community all over the world, sort of joined by a love of nature and fibre and making things, and it just feels very hopeful and supportive and lovely. And I guess the sort of the community on Patreon is like an extension of that, and I just feel incredibly grateful. So I wanted to say thank you for watching. And also, talking of gratitude again, I've worked with so many wonderful people, especially some really wonderful, creative, amazing women this year, and it has been delightful to sort of build those connections and to support each other, to sort of amplify each other's work and create a sort of international connection of makers. So I've really, really loved sharing skills with these women. So it's been a wonderful year for that. So thank you so much for being part of it. really means the world to me. I hope you are all keeping well and having a cosy winter and enjoying your winter crafts. I hope you have a lovely solstice and Christmas and anything else that you celebrate. But I'm sending you lots of love, and I will catch up with you in January.